I have no idea what I'm doing. Hello everyone, my name is Calli Coquette, and today I am going to be showing you how to do my signature drag face makeup look. Essentially the steps to achieving sexy clown realness. Oh, Mitten's here. Hello. She always has to make a signature appearance. Everyone say hello to Mitten. Okay, go settle. First things first, I'm just gonna take off my glasses and slick my hair back with some gel really quick to get it out of the way, and I will be right back. I am back and I am slick. Okay, so now that my hair is out of my face, I am just going to go in with a cotton round and some isopropyl alcohol to remove all of the oils, especially in the brow area, because we are going to go in with a glue stick in a minute. And make sure to keep your one eye closed. I like to do half my face at a time, because the first time I did this, I made the mistake of keeping my eye open and got alcohol in my eye. We're drag queens. We never do anything that is good for our body. So next, I am going to go in with my Elmer's glue stick. I'm sure if you are watching this tutorial, you have watched a million drag tutorials at this point. I like to do the Trixie Mattel technique, which is basically back comb the glue into your brow first, and then I will take it and sort of smooth the rest of the hair up, and then I will quickly take, oh, there's so much hair on that view. I'm a gross person, in case you haven't noticed by now, but essentially you just need this little tiny comb boy and just brush it up, and I sort of press the flat plastic against the brow to flatten it after combing. And then we'll just do that on the other side. Yes.
It's pumpkin spice season.
Do you want to be in the video?
It's pumpkin spice season.
It's pumpkin spice season. It's really hot in here.
It's because you have the fan on.
But I have to for audio purposes for the people of YouTube. I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, and while those are drying, I am going to go in with my foundation. This is the Maybelline, what is it called? This is the Maybelline Superstay Activewear in shade 112 Natural Ivory, because I'm a pale bitch. 2 squirts onto my hand, and then I will go in with my very dirty beauty blender. Don't look at that. So I'll just get a bunch on the back of this and just start going to town on my face. You don't have to get super up close to the edge of the eye there, because it's all going to be covered with white makeup. And make sure to go down your neck as well. Go down your neck as well. Typically my makeup, when I am not filming, will take me like 2-ish hours, like an hour 45, 2 hours. But usually if I am doing my makeup and I have time, I will fuck around and find out and just be like, okay, let's try this kind of line today on my forehead, or let's play with some glitter. And does it come out looking nice all the time? No, it does not. But experimentation is a wonderful thing. And I always go in up here, because if your wig is going to slip back anywhere, it is going to be at the top. Again, these brows are basically dry because I've been talking, but usually they are not completely. So I will go in and set my foundation as well. So I will go in with my trusty Coty Airspun, which has never done me dirty except for the time that I spilled it all over myself, but I think this is technically a blush brush, but I like a bit of a smaller fluffy brush just to get a little more precision so I can really get into, like, what are the smile lines? I know what I'm talking about. Now that I have set my foundation and everything, these brows are going to be bone dry. You want them bone dry, because if you go in with glue stick while it's still wet, it is going to lift up and completely ruin the texture. I only like to do 2 coats of glue. You should only need 2 coats if you did it correctly. If you have even thicker brows than I do, you might have to go in with a 3rd, but anything more than 3 starts to really build up, and that's not a look that I personally enjoy. And then while those are drying for a second time, I am going to go in and start outlining the bottom part of my eye makeup. I will go in with my white liner and a concealer brush. This has no branding. This is a white eyeliner from Amazon, but it is the best fucking white and black eyeliner I use. I have the same Everyday is the brand, ? But it sets so well and does not sweat off at all and is better than any sort of like drugstore or high-end thing that I've tried. If you are not able to get things shipped from Amazon, I'm sorry. I'm going to create a straight line going down my nose. So you see it just starts right where my brow starts, and then after these dry, I will continue it up. And then I will go and sort of swoosh it up a little bit, like sort of like the Nike symbol. And then I will sort of curve it up towards the end of my eye, and I will just end it a little bit past where my actual eye ends. I just brought it down a little bit more so that the curves is more of like a very weird S. A lot of people ask me how I came up with this makeup, and the honest answer is I have no idea. In high school, I would do makeup in like the middle of the night and just play around and have fun. For my skill level at the time, it really was not bad. That is sort of what helped me to create this face and develop my makeup really quickly, was that I already had such a base knowledge of drag makeup before I actually started going out and performing. For more outlining, I will go in with an angled eyeliner brush or eyebrow brush. There's a spoolie at the end, and then my black eyeliner. You can tell she's very well used. About halfway between where my eye starts and where this white line is, I will create a line just going sort of straight up. Black eyeliner is concentration time. This is when I don't talk. It'll angle just ever so slightly down to connect that liner to my actual eye. You want it to end with a nice point, like 90-degree angle. That's what we're trying to achieve here. Basically following where this white is sort of swooping up, I will just add a black line right there. I kind of wanted my makeup to look like those old like 50s fashion sketches, and also highly animated and stylized cartoons like the Powerpuff Girls were a big inspiration for my makeup. I also, when I first started, got compared to my drag mom a lot, Clarity, before I actually became her drag daughter. And then we finally met and it was like, oh yeah, we are the same person. So now that these brows are dry once again, I will go in with my foundation. I use like the same 3 makeup products and tools and utensils for everything. Get some on here and just tap over the brow very gently. I focus a lot of the foundation on the center of the brow. Just sort of taper it and stipple around to get a smooth transition. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be putting more product over top that's going to cover it anyways. So we did bounce all of the foundation on this side. I will go in on the dry side of this beauty blender and I will really dig in to that Coty powder. Sort of press and roll it up onto the brow, and that will flatten it and get that powder in the areas where there might be any sort of gapping. So now that we have powder all over my face, I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush and just dust off the excess. So now that the brow coverage is done, I will go about halfway through where my natural brow would sit and make a little mark on each side. From this straight line, I will curve it down into that line that we made initially to connect it and create that nice eyeliner swoop. And then we'll continue this line sort of back and ever so slightly tilted up. Oh, fuck that up. That's all right. And then just sort of connect this little end line here. The funny thing about my makeup is that a lot of it is all about angles and proportions, but you'll see that almost all of the lines on my face are not straight. They are all curved in some sort of way. That looks even enough, so we're gonna move on. So now we're gonna go back in with our white liner, and you see how there's that sort of thickness of space in between the black and the white on each side. We're gonna do that same level of thickness with a white line at the top here. And then with this line, we will continue it up. Once you reach that same level, you're gonna wanna start to curve your line and create a half circle kind of shape. It'll end just sort of right past your eye, right there. And then you'll just sort of curve that half circle and connect it to that straight line. So you can see the essentials of it starting to come out now. So now we are going to move on to eyeshadow. So I have a really lovely pink color that I like to use in my Redacted Charles palette. I got it before he was canceled, let's just say that. So I'm going to go in with this hot pink shade right here, and I'm going to follow that same outline. And I am not going to blend this in just yet. I am going to make sure to pack it with shadow first, and then we will go in and blend in a minute. And then at the front here, I am just sort of going to taper it off because we're going to go in with contour shades there in a second. My very first concept for Calli makeup, I did pink shadow and a silver lid with pink lips. It's so crazy to look back and think that that was just a little over a year ago. The amount of crazy growth and following that I've had in just that first year, like my brain cannot process that all of that has happened in 1 year. So now I am also going in with shadow, sort of the same concept on the bottom. And if you fuck up any of the edges, it'll be covered with your wig lace anyways, so it doesn't matter. So now that we have this eyeshadow all packed on here, I'm going to take the same brush. I don't put any more eyeshadow on the brush. I will just buff it out. Don't be afraid to go big with the makeup, because I have such huge makeup. It is better to go too big than too small. You can see how that sort of just diffused this side a little bit more than how packed this side is right here. I guess I decided when I started drag and really started to develop this face, I was like, what is gonna make me look good every time? Doing a bunch of steps that are really hard to do, so I am forced to concentrate. Time management is a real problem for me. Now I'm gonna go back in with just a little bit more of that shadow so that it creates a true gradient effect. Like, it all makes sense together. So now that that pink is on, I'm going to wipe off my brush once again. I'm gonna take this taupe shade right over here, and that'll sort of just act as, again, a sort of guideline, a base to the color. Blend that into the eyeshadow up here and connect it. So then I'm going to go in with this sort of like warm, I don't know what color that is, like a warmish lighter brown here. I'm gonna start at the tip of my nose here and then bring it up gradually. So you see how that just darkened it up a little bit, and I'm keeping all of the tones warmer. My wrist hurts from holding shadows like that. I forgot to hit record. Essentially, I'm going to go in with my white once again and finalize the white areas of my face. I do white here, and then I'll go in on the top, second layer of everything, and then I'll go on with my nose contour. So that's what you missed. I don't have an actual camera. I am filming this using my phone connected to my laptop, which is recording everything to photo booth. It's a very lengthy process that I wish I did not have to do, but I am broke, so I don't have the money to buy an actual nice camera. For those of y'all who thought that on Drag Duel I had like a full production going, it was literally me and my partner filming things on our phones and my $9 tripod from Amazon. This is not a professional production in the slightest. So now I've gone all in with a second layer. You can see that it's looking pretty solid, pretty cunt, pretty gorgeous. Rosé calls herself the fashion clown, but I think I need to steal that title from her. But guess what? We're not done with the white. I'm gonna go back in. I'm basically just gonna take this and go straight down my nose here. Not the worst. And I will go in with more liner and sort of do little tiny side brushes to get it more pigmented. It's definitely thicker than I normally do it, but I will go in with eyeshadow and fix all of that in a minute. Going to take some more of that white and sort of fan it out at the top, following that curve a little bit, and then very quickly go in with a clean finger and blend it out even more into that foundation. And I will define the sides. Oh, voice crack. And then I will take the very bottom of this brush, you can see how dirty it is. I will dip it into the white liner and just do a little dot right at the end. Ta-da! So now we want to clean up the edges and make that white line really sharp. So I'm going to take that same contour eyeshadow that we used before, just define the edges, and these eyeshadows are nice and pigmented, so it'll just make that white disappear. So now that our nose is nice and snatched, I am going to go in with a shimmery eyeshadow on this lid here to sort of, again, create some more definition. So I'm going to go in with this very light pink shimmery shade here called Celestial. I'm going to lick my brush. Don't come for me. Make sure to follow the line of your brow coverage to get the most smooth coat that you can. And then once I get it all over the lid, I'm just going to sort of, again, taper it off into that bottom liner. And if your brow coverage is not looking the greatest after the white eyeliner steps, I would say just go in with a matte shadow. Don't go in with a shimmer because it does accentuate texture on the brow here, but I think the shimmer is just too pretty to leave it matte. The time has finally come, the moment you've all been waiting for. Black eyeliner. You can see how I kind of look like a stupid bitch right now, but now once we add this black going in here, it is going to really tie all of this together and make it make sense. Gonna get a nice thick gloppy amount, and I like to start in the crease area right here, so that is the part that dries first. Just spread it all inside that location where we did that outline. Sort of like paint by numbers. Black is a very stressful color to put on your face, especially eyeliner, because the moment that you screw something up, it's all done for. You just have to adjust. And I'm just gonna keep the same brush and just go over that outline that we created initially and just darken it up. Cat eye sharp enough to kill a man. The one trouble of having super nice liners that dry down really fast is the end of your brush gets so chunky. So I'm gonna dip in with just a little bit of liner on this brush, and I'm gonna sharpen up that inner corner edge. So I'm gonna go in with this black eyeliner and create a outline all around the perimeter of this white area here. And that is what really takes this from basic to elevated. The thinness of the line depends on how much patience I have and how much I fuck up. So we'll see where we go today. Not gonna lie, I kind of slayed that. So once I get the bottom done, I will sort of start on this curve here and then come around and down and do the straight line last. This straight line is always the danger zone, and you're always gonna screw something up there. Like, I went definitely way too close to into the contour. It's getting a little messy on the white side, but we're just gonna clean it up later. Looking at it more closely now, the fuck-ups actually aren't that bad. I'm just gonna go in and touch up the white a little bit where I may have screwed it up slightly. And nothing ever happened. We can relax. Oh my god, my sternum just cracked. I don't know if you heard that. So next we are going to move on to contour, which I also use eyeshadows for. So I'm gonna dip into that same brown that we've been using, and starting just a little bit below where my ear, the top of my ear hair, go in and sort of drag it down and buff it and make sure it gets back into that hairline. And then I'll also go in with that same color and brush just a little bit on this outside forehead edge here and blend it into that white that we added earlier. So then you still have that definition that brings your eye towards the center. So once again, we're going back in with our foundation. I will get a decent amount, and then you're gonna start just above where that corner of your mouth is, about 1 inch away, and swoop up in small bits. You might have to dip into more foundation to just under that very top of your ear there, and very quickly blend it down. And then I will blend around up into this area to diffuse that line at the very end here, so it sort of just disappears there. I repeat once again, we will fix it in a minute. I'm mostly telling that to myself at this point. Now we're gonna go in with some more powder and cut under that cheek. And then while I'm here, I will also powder around my cheeks here just to bring a little bit of lightness back to it from the dark contours. So I will go in with my trusty Coty Airspun, which has never done me dirty except for the time that I spilled it all over myself. Oh shit. I just spilled so much powder everywhere. Oh. Okay, well, I'm gonna brush off that powder there. I create a lot tanner of a face up here, and then use my paleness to my advantage for the highlights. Tap off the excess on a paper towel or a regular like washcloth or something. That is very important for this, because if you do not, it will look so intense. And just softly brush onto that corner of the jawline here. So it just sort of creates that sharp definition right there. Whereas here it's a little bit undefined. And then I'll just use whatever is left over on this brush. Okay, we finished. Oh, I almost completely forgot about highlight. But today, because we are feeling pink, I'm gonna go in with this same shimmer that we had on the lid. Just go in with a clean finger, and I will just put it honestly right where my natural highlight would go when I am out of drag. And then I'll add a lot on my Cupid's bow. This Duo Quickset Strip Lash Adhesive is the best glue that I have ever used. I just prefer to use the same glue for everything. This is the best. If you want amazing results, that's so dirty, I shouldn't have done that. Now is about the point in time where my hands get super dirty, so I will take just a makeup wipe and get rid of all of that grime, because I'm going to be going in with lashes and rhinestones, which can get dirty very easily. Last step, lips, finally. So for lips, the signature Calli is a black lip, so I am going to be going in with Fenty Beauty's Uninvited liquid lipstick here. So I'm gonna go in and just color my regular lips real quick, and then we'll get into detailing. So now we've got rough color on our lips, and then on the top I will sort of follow my Cupid's bow up to make a point, like a really pointed Cupid's bow. So you can see I sort of created that very triangular Cupid's bow, and then at the ends I will drag it out and up, almost a little Jokerish, but like more cunt. And there we are. The face is on, the mug is right. So I'm gonna go throw on a wig and a costume, and we will be right back. And here we are, the final look. Ooh. Ah, not a soaking clap. Not a soaking clap. So this is the final look. Of course, I look very stunning and gorgeous. This is basically just signature Calli, is black latex, choker, bold color. I hope you all enjoyed this little tutorial on my signature makeup. If you guys want to recreate this makeup look, please, I would be so honored to see it. Also, please let me know what you want to see on this channel, because I definitely have a couple ideas that I am working on right now, but I want to hear from you, the audience, as to what you want to see from me, what you want me to do, if you want more makeup content, sewing, hairstyling. I'm all ears. I'm very open. So please let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, you know, the whole YouTube gambit. I think that is it. I am going to have to run, so I will catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah.